people want to kill them. So help me understand. Gene here. Gene has concerns, but help me understand something. Have we reached a point in America where adults think it's okay to scream profanity at teenage girls simply because they disagree with their opinion? At a recent Seattle Storm WNBA game, two teenage girls were holding signs supporting Sophie Cunningham and expressing their own opinion. Now, we're not going to get into that whole debate. That's a whole other video. However, according to reports, instead of simply disagreeing or walking away, adults confronted them, yelled at them, and used profanity towards them. Forget what these girls were protesting for just a minute and just put yourself in their shoes. They're 16 years old. You know, imagine you attend a sporting event. You're wearing a t-shirt supporting something you believe in. Maybe it's politics. Maybe it's religion. Maybe it's your favorite sports team. Maybe it's something completely ridiculous like pie is better than cake. Let's focus on that. Would it be okay for a grown adult to get in your face, start yelling, start cussing, trying to humiliate you because they disagree with your beliefs? If the answer is no, then why is it okay here? I mean, look, a big grown man yelling and cussing at teenage girls, wow. Another adult, if this is how adults are supposed to handle disagreement, we're in big trouble here. You don't have to agree with the girls. You don't even have to like what they're saying. You have every right to disagree, but disagreement doesn't justify intimidation. It's called freedom of speech. Just like you have the right to wear your shirt, to carry your signs that say the opposite of what they're saying, they have that right to do the same thing. It's America. This isn't really about the legal First Amendment. It's about something bigger. We've become a society where people are afraid to express their opinion because they're worried someone's going to scream in their face. Someone's going to hit them, throw things at them, knock them down, shoot them. People have been threatened with violence. There's these people that go around these protests all over the country, and they're not in agreement with the protests, so they're interviewing people with the protest, and those people want to kill them because they're in disagreement of them. What kind of example are these adults setting for these teens? I mean, you can hold your own sign, like I said, wear your own shirt, protest peacefully, explain why you think they're wrong, have a civil debate. That's how ideas compete. But screaming profanity at teenagers isn't debate. It's intimidation. That, to me, was a form of child abuse. This episode isn't about whether transgender athletes should compete in women's sports. Like I said, that's a totally different subject. This is a separate conversation. This concern is much simpler. How should we treat people whose opinions differ from ours? I believe everyone deserves the freedom to express their opinion, even if I completely disagree with it. Just like I'm doing right here, expressing my opinion. I also believe everyone has the right to peacefully disagree. That's perfectly fine. What I don't support is adults trying to silence or intimidate teenagers by getting in their faces, yelling profanity. It's disgusting. So help me understand, when did yelling become more persuasive than talking? When did adults decide this is an acceptable way to treat teenagers? Are we teaching the next generation how to debate or how to bully? What happened to all the anti-bullying that was going on? If someone did this to your son, your daughter, your niece or nephew, your grandchild because of a sign they were holding, would you defend it? Or would you stand up for their rights? And yeah, then we get to this co-owner of the team in Seattle. And I found this on Facebook, and I think it tells the whole story. These girls being intimidated by a grown adult, an executive of a sports team, a professional sports team. And let's be clear, I don't care whether you're a co-owner, a fan, a politician, or the guy selling popcorn. You're in a position of leadership here. People are watching you. Kids are watching you. And according to reports, you, talking to this owner here, approached these teenage girls and called them insane. Really? And according to, you couldn't simply just disagree. You couldn't walk away. You couldn't say, I'm sorry, girls. That's not my opinion. But good for you for standing up for your opinion, and good for you for standing up for your freedom of speech. Instead, you chose to confront teenagers over a sign they were holding and over what they had on their shirts. Whether you agree with them or not, that's not my concern. My concern is someone in leadership position thought it was appropriate to handle it that way. Then we have this other flaming idiot. This guy right here. And there were other people around him, but sir, let me ask you something. You're a grown adult. These are teenage girls. You got in their faces and started yelling and cussing at them. You too said to teenage girls. You thought that made your point. Did you really? Did you really think that made your point? You thought that was going to change their minds? You thought that was going to set a good example? Wow. Big old grown man yelling and cussing at teenage girls. I'm a man. F you. Congratulations. You showed everybody how tough you are by screaming at kids. Flaming idiot. And that's what concerns me. Not whether I agree with the girls, not whether I disagree with the girls. What concerns me most is that someone or somewhere along the way, some adults decided that the proper response to an opinion they don't like was this. So help me understand. When did that become acceptable? Again, just you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to disagree with them. Some people don't care, like, yeah, not my problem. Other people have opinions, like me, and I'm allowed to voice these opinions. And it's not just this situation, it's everywhere. People have opinions that those who oppose them think it's okay to yell, cuss, use violence, rip signs out of their hands, threaten them with their lives, tell them they should have been aborted. We've heard that one. But if we've really reached a point where grown adults think screaming for profanity teenagers is an acceptable way to respond to opinion, then we really gotta, we gotta really get better as a society. You have the right to free speech. I've said that. But you don't have the right to act like a flaming idiot like these adults did. Help me understand. When do we forget how to disagree? And to quote Jerry Springer, until next time, take care of yourself and each other. And always remember, Gene has concerns.